We will now go to Ms. Stubbs for the next round for 5 minutes. I believe you're sharing with Mr. Falk, so I'll begin with you.
Thanks, Chair. Just a quick question before I cede to my colleague. I just want to also mention that I find the line of questioning posed by MP Angus to be extremely important. So we'll do our work to get accountability for these answers too. Mr. Giroux and Mr. Stanton, 3 months ago, the Auditor General, you probably saw, said that the government issued a non-competitive contract in October 2022 without a justification clearly linked to one of the exceptions to competitive procurements. That contract was worth nearly $33 million. It is related to the Trans Mountain expansion. It was given to, as these Liberals love to do, their insider cronies and buddies at McKinsey and Company. I have a question for you. Are you familiar with that information? And would you be willing to also review and analyze and pursue that information that the Auditor General has highlighted, given all of your yeoman's work in your office to support Parliament by, exactly as you always emphasize, promoting greater budget transparency and accountability?
It's not something that we have looked at. We take the construction costs as a given, and we adjust for future, in our past reports at least, for future potential increases or decrease to construction costs. So we're not typically mandated to do audits of the costs that have been incurred, whether each and every one of them was justified. We take them as granted. And I think
about is that this $33 million contract that the Auditor General highlighted that was non-competitive and is somehow linked to TMX, and this government hasn't actually given any answers to taxpayers who now, because of them, are on the hook for TMX and also on the hook for whatever this $33 million contract, uncompetitive contract was given to McKinsey and Company for whatever this mysterious work is done for TMX. So it looks like the Auditor General did the work that they could. And so I would love to be able to figure out ways to work with you in your office to get you to do a deep dive on whatever the heck that issue is to get these needed answers for Canadians.
That would be work that would typically be done by the Auditor General. But if the committee were to pass a motion asking me to look specifically into this issue, it's something that I could do in conjunction with the Auditor General.
Thank you very much. And I'll cede to my colleague, Ted.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Giroux and Mr. Stanton, for your presence here today. You said you've reviewed this project at several stages at the time of purchase and then in 2022 and now again. And you looked at project costs and budgets and estimates. Can you provide this committee with a detailed construction breakdown from the initial costs and then as compared to what the actual costs were now at the time of completion?
So we have the construction costs in aggregate. So early, when the project was in its early phases, the estimates, and as these estimates evolved upwards, we have the overall amount, but we did not request the amount of details that would allow us to determine whether each and every one of them was justified or the reason why each and every one was.
Okay. Sir, what I'm asking for is actual amounts. You will have had a detailed construction given to you, a breakdown at the beginning of the project, and I'd like a comparison now on a completed project as to what those costs ended up being and any additional costs associated with the project. Those you would have had. I'm not asking for justification or explanation. I just want numbers. And you did mention that the government was going to divest some of the assets it purchased with TMX. Has the government divested of any of the assets associated with that project?
To my knowledge, no.
Yeah, I'm not sure. No. Okay, and when you do an evaluation of the project, if you were to look at that project on an income basis, based on the revenue or the tolls that the project is currently generating at today's interest rates, if one were to finance the entire project with a 1.1% debt service ratio, what would the value of the project be today?
We haven't done that analysis. We'd have to run these specific numbers to be able to answer that specific question.
Okay. When you look at the project, you say you have done a evaluation of the project. On what basis or rationale have you used to determine that value?
Sorry again, could you, sorry, just repeat the question?
Okay, you've indicated that you've.
Mr. Falk, unfortunately, the time's up, and so we'll have to hold
Well,
that.
he's asking for clarification to answer the question.
Time is up, so we're gonna,
I think Mr. Jahari
maybe
got-
somebody else can pick up
got an
with that
extension.
line of questioning. Thank you.